We'll go ahead and get started. Thank you for everyone for coming. It's an extremely hot morning, but we'll get through this. Thank you. It's my pleasure to be here representing the Iowa Statewide Interoperability Board as the chairman of that board. The Interoperability Board has made great strides since its inception in 2007 with the ultimate objective to establish a statewide interoperability network in Iowa known as ISICS, the Iowa Statewide Interoperable Communication System. Interoperability board members represent fire, emergency management, emergency medical services, police departments, sheriff's offices, and state departments that all work together to get interoperability to the highest level. ISICS will provide statewide, border-to-border radio communication for all. Today, portions of the network are already in operation, with more tower sites coming online to be completed this fall. As the chairman of the Interoperability Board and Bureau Chief of the Department of Public Safety Communications Bureau, I would like to thank each and every person who has contributed to the build-out of this important network. When public safety can talk to each other seamlessly during events that require a large response, it is much easier to bring the event to a successful conclusion when our first responders can talk to each other on one system. Many events have taken place where communication among first responders was at times impossible and ineffective. ISICS has been a long time coming, but is here, within reach, to make public safety history in Iowa. With that, I will introduce Colonel Jeff Ritzman, the Chief of the Iowa State Patrol, whose officers will be using this network alongside other public safety personnel during events that require us to communicate with each other. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Lieutenant Lampe, and good morning. On behalf of our troopers across the state of Iowa, let me say how much we will appreciate having an interoperable radio system all across the state. The motto of the Iowa State Patrol is courtesy, service, and protection. So the protection of all Iowans is our bottom line. For our state troopers, like every other law enforcement officer, our lives quite literally depend on reliable, clear radio communications on a daily basis. We have officers in every corner of the state, including the beautiful hills and valleys all over Iowa, in the bluffs of northeast Iowa and the lush hills of southwest Iowa, and everything in between. We need to have a good, strong radio system to talk to each other. Iowa is a very safe place to live. But when there's trouble, you're very likely to see a law enforcement officer responding. Whether you're just having car trouble, or it's a medical emergency, or a traffic collision, or a serious crime, you're likely to see a state trooper, or a county deputy, or a city police officer on scene. The statewide radio network will allow every law enforcement officer and every first responder to be able to talk to each other, to coordinate their responses. We want to protect our officers so that they can protect all of you on the streets and highways and in our homes. The new statewide interoperable radio system will help to better protect us so we can better protect you. Now, it's my privilege to introduce Commissioner Roxanne Ryan.
Thank you, Colonel Ritzman, and let me echo my support for the new radio system. As Colonel Ritzman has said, we can better protect Iowans when we can protect all of our law enforcement partners and all of our first responder partners. This statewide system also makes it possible to talk with the partners who can help us in a disaster, whether it is a natural disaster or a serious criminal event. In the Marshalltown tornado, when cell phones shut down because of the great demand for cellular coverage, the radios worked. The same was true in Joplin, Missouri, which was overwhelmed after their tornado. There are dozens of other examples. When disaster strikes during an event with a large crowd of people, law enforcement officers and other first responders need to have a radio system they can rely on. They need to be able to talk with each other to make sure that ambulances know where to go, to manage crowds and traffic that has turned to chaos, and to be sure that every life that can be saved will be saved. In day-to-day activities of law enforcement, our radio communication is absolutely essential. There are no substitutes. This new radio network will provide coverage from border to border. It is robust enough that it will include more than just our law enforcement partners. Fire, EMS, National Guard, hospitals, schools, and other agencies will be able to join in so that people can talk with each other no matter what it is that's happening in their community. We've appreciated the support of the Governor and Lieutenant Governor, the Iowa Legislature, and others for their continued support as we have moved from a 1970s era radio system to this new statewide network. And to that end, I'd like to introduce Governor Kim Reynolds, who will have the honor of making the first calls on our new system.
Thank you. Well, thank you, Commissioner Ryan, and thank you for your leadership of the Department of Public Safety. I'd also like to take this opportunity to thank the Interoperability Board and the Department of Public Safety Interoperability Communications Bureau for their hard work on this effort. Today, we bring the concept of interoperability in Iowa to life. I'm honored to recognize this state-of-art communication system for our first responders. From reacting to natural disasters to day-to-day operations, interoperability is critical for public safety in Iowa. Just last month in Marshalltown, ISICS, along with the trailer behind me, ensured that first responders had interoperability during a crisis. And it's important that that doesn't stop there. This new radio system, when fully completed, will deliver communications to all of our public safety entities across Iowa. We'll be able to more effectively coordinate our resources to protect our greatest asset, the people of our great state. I want to thank Motorola Solutions for their role in constructing this cutting-edge communication system. I'd also like to recognize Lieutenant Lampe for his role in overseeing the process. At this time, I am pleased to make the inaugural call on ISIS. The first call will be to Harrison County Communications Center in Western Iowa. Governor Reynolds to Harrison County Community Center. Do you copy?
Governor Reynolds from Harrison County, loud and clear.
Governor Reynolds to Iowa State Parole, Communications Cedar Rapids, do you copy?
Governor Reynolds, this is Cedar Rapids DPS, you're loud and clear.
Governor Reynolds to Boone County, Emergency Management, do you copy?
Governor Reynolds from Boone County, Emergency Management, loud and clear.
Governor Reynolds to the Iowa National Guard, do you copy?
Governor Reynolds from the 185th Air National Guard, loud and clear.
Governor Reynolds to Dallas Center Middle School, how do you copy?
Reynolds from Dallas Center Middle School, loud and clear.
Governor Reynolds to Unity Point Hospital, how do you copy?
Governor Reynolds from Unity Point Hospital, loud and clear.
Excellent. Please join me in expressing our deep appreciation to all of the individuals who made this statewide radio system a reality.